Good evening. I have just come back in from being out in the tulip fields today with a lovely couple from Brazil. Just 2 days ago, I was out with another fantastic couple who were South Africans over from America. This is my work at this time of the year. I take people out into the tulip fields so that they can experience the tulip fields away from the tourists. We didn't see any tourists in the last 2 days. In fact, nobody knows of this location yet because I haven't posted it on social media. Anyway, this is a brilliant location, but what I'm looking for when I'm shooting windmills and tulips is front to back sharpness. I'm looking for the tulips nearest to the camera to be in focus as well as the windmill on the back. And both couples have asked me, what's the best way to go about this? Is it with one image? Is it with focus stacking? And if you do focus stacking, how do you go about focus stacking if you can't do it in the camera? So I thought this was a perfectly timely point to create a little documentation on how to go about this. Just yesterday, amazingly, an article from Amateur Photographer popped up on my social media. Maybe it was because I was searching for focus stacking, who knows. But there's an article from back in May 2018, but it's by James Abbott, who reveals how to use focus stacking to achieve front-to-back sharpness. Well, I followed the instructions to the letter, and they work. So thank you very much, Amateur Photographer. That is an absolutely brilliant article. So go back to Lightroom. There's 380 images from today. I haven't even got halfway through them, but I found a selection that I was wanting to focus stack. These are all the ones with ones on them, one-starred images. So we've highlighted those and we're going to take them through, edit in, open as layers in Photoshop. So now we're taking these from Lightroom through to Photoshop. I have done no editing on these whatsoever, but they are going through, hopefully, she says. Yeah, maybe this time. Yes, they're going through this time. So they're going through to Photoshop as NEF files, so we're keeping all the data. What I tend to do is take everything through, and then once I flatten the image and take it back into Lightroom, I then start working on lights, balance, colour, cropping, that kind of thing. That way I keep as much detail as I can throughout the process. So what we're just going to do, we're going to get all these images just on the right hand side there. And then first of all what we're going to do is auto-align them, the reason being today because I was out without my tripod and I did my best to try and keep the camera in the same place throughout all these images, but you will see there's a slight movement between each one. So what we're going to do is we're just going to highlight these images over on the right hand side, edit, and we're going to go to auto-align layers to start the process. By doing this, we're just going to make sure everything lines up first. Much easier than trying to do that manually. I can't believe that for a number of years I have tried to focus stack without using the full capabilities of Photoshop. I've brought in 2 or 3 layers and I've used layers, and then I've tried to use the eraser tool to try and balance it all out. I cannot believe that I've now finally found this way to do it. So now we have the layers all aligned. We're now going to run back to the same place, but this time we're going to blend the layers. And this is going to recognise all the sharp points within the images. And it's going to stack the images front to back, and hopefully you're going to get a sharp image throughout. Now I will say that it gets it pretty much perfect as long as you've got enough images to stack throughout. Here we're using 6 images. I have had up to 10. I was out with somebody today who was taking 20 images, but they were actually stacking in camera. So I've tried with 3. 3's not enough. You end up with slightly blurred areas of tulips on the way through. So I would recommend a minimum of 6 images if you're going to be out in the tulip field doing this. Very specific, but if you come to Holland, that's what you need. So you can see them coming in on the right hand side here. The areas that it's blending together. Just taking a minute or two. So what we have here is a front to back sharp image. If we go in and have a look, you can see that the bottom of the image we've got very sharp tulips, the middle of the image, and you can see that the windmill at the back is super sharp. A couple of things, if we just have a look at the image from here. We now have 3 cyclists where there was only 1 because all the images had a cyclist on it, or 3 of the images at least had a cyclist, and what it's done is it brought exactly the same cyclist in, bizarrely, so we have 3 cyclists, so we should do a little bit of cloning out on that. And also I did notice, it's not too bad on there, you just need to go through the image and just check for slightly blurred areas. Here we have an area that's not super sharp that I would need to do something with. It runs down into the flowers here. I think we probably have one over on the other side here, just here. What I did just do a minute ago, I will show you the final image in a minute, but what I did actually do was I took this back into Lightroom, and then what I did was blended this one with the last most sharp image in the background, and then I just overlaid, blended it and just got rid of all, rather than cloning, I blended the top sharpest image back. But you could just clone out, there's only minimum things. But you'll see there's little things that annoy me. There's a little blue, purpley, well, green thing, there's a white post here. You've got the cyclists, a little box there, there's some rails there, and actually from a distance this looks like a dust spot. It's not, it's a tree, but that annoyed me, so I cloned that out, and I cloned out these electricity wires. So what I did was I then saved that back into Lightroom, went in, and at the moment you can see it's not perfectly straight. Actually we're just waiting for the file to come in, but you can see that the originals were perfectly straight. Let's see where it's going to appear. Maybe, maybe not. It's saving, it's taking its time now. It says I've done this too many times tonight. Anyway, when it comes through, what you're going to end up with is an image that's blended through. What I then went and did was I've then gone and tidied it up, and this is the image that I ended up with. So you can see I've got rid of all the cyclists, not just one. As I mentioned, I've tidied up these areas. What I did was I just blued the sky. I've just changed it to a colour a little bit. I've used the this tool here on the right hand side for the saturation and the hue. If you put it on here, and you can drag it up and down, so this was sort of more what I saw today, but I just thought it's not too blue. I mean, we're not going to go blue like that, but we're going to just put enough colour in the sky. And again, that's the saturation. You can change the hue, so if you fancy a green sky, or if you fancy a sky to match the tulips, again, a bit weird for me. So we should just put that back to roughly where it was. And that's your final image. Just as a quick tool, you might like to try, if you press L at this point, if you would like to do any cropping, select the crop tool and select your tool that you would like to try. So for example, we could just have a look at 16:9 crop on this. I find a really good way is to press L, the L key once, and if you press the L key twice, what it does is you lose everything around it, but you have your cropping tool. So you can then, unfortunately I haven't got quite wide enough to, I don't very much like having horizons in the middle. I think it looks a little unbalanced, so I'm just going to push it up a little higher. Although that's not perfect either. So that's there. You could, if you wanted to, we could try square crop and just see for the argument, just for a bit of fun. Again, double click L, and then you can play with this. You can decide whether you want to. You can also move it in and out. So we can make it just about that windmill. We can make it about the windmill, the buildings, the bridge. You can make it about the sky, or you can just have a complete play around with it. So that's using the L, double L key. Just tap it twice to come in, go to black, tap it twice to come back out. So as you will see, this is the final image here. Let me just a shot. Just put it in very slightly. There we go. That is my pretty much final image. I probably will play on the crop a little bit later, but there is your image for today. Front to back sharpness, all distractions disappeared, and hopefully a beautiful image for a reminder of a lovely day. Look forward to speaking to you again.